AI is either going to save humanity or end it. And the people saying both of those things have no idea how AI actually works. Neither do the engineers building it. That's not me being dramatic, that's the argument of this book. In the next 13 minutes, you'll learn why everything you've been told about how smart AI actually is almost certainly wrong. How the human brain does something effortlessly the trillion-dollar AI systems still cannot replicate. And the one thing Melanie Mitchell says almost nobody in Silicon Valley admits, but which completely changes how you should think about the future of this technology. If this video saved you 10 hours, hit subscribe. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. The first big idea. AI isn't thinking. It's pattern matching. The first thing that surprised me reading this book was how shallow modern AI actually is. We've been sold this image, AI as a towering digital brain, processing reality the way we do, maybe better. But Mitchell dismantles that immediately. Here's what's really happening. When a program like a deep learning model learns to identify a cat, it isn't understanding cat. It's recognizing statistical correlations across millions of pixels. It has no concept of fur, of warmth, of what a cat does in the world. It's a very, very sophisticated pattern matcher. And that's it. Here's the concrete example that hit me hardest. Researchers found the AI image classifiers could be fooled by adding tiny, invisible to the human eye pixel changes to a photo. A picture of a school bus, unmistakably a school bus to any 5-year-old, becomes classified as an ostrich. The AI didn't see the bus, it detected patterns. Change the pattern slightly and the whole illusion collapses. Mitchell calls this the brittleness problem. These systems are fragile in ways human perception simply isn't. But here's where it gets really interesting, that because the second idea doesn't just build on this, it explains why brittleness is basically unavoidable with our current approach to AI, and why that has terrifying implications. Chapter 2. The second big idea. AI has no common sense, and that's a fundamental problem. So the second big idea is something researchers call the common sense problem. And it's been the dirty little secret of AI for 70 years. Here's the tension. We've built AI that can beat the world's best Go player. It can write poetry. It can diagnose certain cancers from scans better than radiologists. And yet, it cannot answer this question reliably. Can you fit an elephant in a car? Why? Because answering that requires knowing what an elephant is in the world, its weight, its size, the fact that it is a living creature that wouldn't want to be in a car, that cars have doors, that doors have dimensions. It requires a web of background knowledge so vast and so obvious that humans never think of it as knowledge at all. Mitchell uses a great analogy here. Imagine teaching someone to play chess by only ever showing them winning games and never explaining the rules. Eventually, they start mimicking grandmaster moves. But the moment they hit a position that doesn't match anything they've seen, they fall apart completely. That's current AI, brilliant within its training distribution, lost outside it. And this sets up what I think is the most important and most unsettling insight in the whole book. Because Mitchell doesn't just identify the problem, she argues that nobody actually knows how to solve it. And she has receipts. Chapter 3. The core. Insight. We don't understand what we've built. This is the part of the book I kept putting down to just stare at the ceiling. Here's the core claim Mitchell's building to. We have created AI systems that work, and we do not understand why they work. This isn't fringe criticism. This is the consensus view among the researchers actually building these systems. The field even has a name for the problem: interpretability, or rather the lack of it. You can watch a neural network produce a correct answer. You cannot trace the reasoning. There is no reasoning in the human sense. There's a cascade of matrix multiplications, billions of weighted numbers, adjusting in ways that no human can audit. Mitchell quotes AI researcher Pedro Domingos, who described machine learning models as a kind of alchemy. You mix the ingredients, you run the experiment, you see if gold comes out. Sometimes it does. You don't know exactly why. Now connect that to something you already know. We are currently deploying these systems in medical diagnosis, in criminal sentencing software, in autonomous vehicles, in financial markets. We are making life and death decisions with tools we cannot explain. Mitchell isn't saying this to cause panic. She's saying this to demand intellectual honesty from researchers, from policymakers, from the tech press that keeps oscillating between AI will save us and AI will kill us without ever sitting down with the actual science. Her position is careful and it's important. We are not close to human-level general intelligence. The hype in both directions, the utopian hype and the apocalyptic hype, is untethered from what the research actually shows. And that gap between the narrative and the reality is itself dangerous. Now, before I give you the last piece, the part that almost no other summary of this book mentions, I want to show you how these three ideas fit together, because the picture they form is not what you'd expect. Chapter 4, the part nobody talks about, Mitchell's actual optimism. Every other summary I've seen of this book frames it as a takedown, a debunking. AI is dumber than you think, here's why. And that's not wrong, but it misses the most interesting move Mitchell makes. She's not a doomsayer. She's not a dismisser. She is genuinely excited about AI, but for reasons that are almost the opposite of what the industry promotes. Mitchell argues that the failure modes of AI are the most scientifically interesting thing about it. When an AI fails at common sense, it's teaching us something profound about what common sense actually is, about how human cognition works, about what it means to understand something rather than just predict it. AI isn't just a technology project. It's a mirror. It's forcing us to define rigorously and for the first time what intelligence actually is. She believes the path to real AI progress runs through cognitive science, through psychology, through understanding human minds, not just through more data and more compute. More scale, she argues, is not the answer. More understanding is the answer. And here's the kicker. The researchers who share this view are increasingly in the minority. The industry has bet everything on scale. More parameters, more training data, more GPU clusters. Mitchell thinks that bet might be wrong. And given how consistently the brittleness and common sense problems have resisted being solved by scale alone, it's a hard argument to dismiss. Which brings me to what this book actually asks you to do, not as a technologist, but as a thinking human. So here's what this book actually comes down to. AI is a powerful but deeply limited tool that we do not yet understand. And the most dangerous thing we can do is pretend otherwise. If you take nothing else away, take that. Not because AI isn't impressive, it is, but because the decisions being made right now by governments, by companies, by courts, are being made on the assumption that these systems are more capable, more reliable, and more legible than they actually are. And Melanie Mitchell, who has spent decades in this field, is asking you to demand better. Most people will read this book and nod along and go back to being impressed by ChatGPT. But if you actually absorb what Mitchell is arguing, you'll never read a tech headline the same way again. You now have no excuse.